Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of Apache Kafka,
Kafka.
a tech you might not know by name,
Right.
but you can bet it's running behind the scenes of a lot of the stuff that you use every single day.
Yeah.
We've got a really interesting mix of sources for this deep dive.
Okay.
We've got some technical deep dives. We've got some marketing hype.
Sure.
We've even got some YouTube wisdom
Oh, nice.
from folks who are actually, working with Kafka in the trenches.
Awesome.
And get this,
Okay.
over 80%
Wow.
of Fortune 100 companies are relying on Kafka.
Really? That many?
That's a lot. So let's find out why.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
One of the things that's so interesting about Kafka is that it wasn't, born a tech superstar.
Yeah.
This thing started at LinkedIn, tackling a pretty mundane problem, handling those massive logs of website activity.
And wow.
But that seemingly simple origin story has led to a system that's now handling trillions of messages daily across all sorts of industries.
Okay, so it evolves beyond just website logs,
Yeah.
clearly. But for those of us who aren't, knee-deep in code every day,
Right.
what IS Kafka? Like, what's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, great question. Imagine like a messaging system,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like on steroids,
Okay.
designed for this modern world
Yeah.
of data streaming. So technically, it's a distributed event streaming platform,
Okay.
meaning it can handle
Got it.
floods of data in real time
Yeah.
from tons of sources. It doesn't matter if it's websites, apps, sensors, anything.
So we're talking about moving data around and quickly and reliably.
Yeah.
But don't we, already have messaging systems?
You do?
So what makes Kafka, the big deal here?
It's not just moving the data around, it's about doing it incredibly efficiently and in a way that's super resilient.
Okay.
So one of Kafka's key strengths is its high throughput.
Yeah.
I think low latency,
Got it.
massive message volumes. So built for speed. Then you've got scalability.
Yeah.
Which means that you can just add more servers as your data needs grow.
Okay.
And Kafka just keeps chugging along, doesn't even break a sweat.
Nice.
And maybe most importantly, it's got reliability, just built right in.
Okay.
Data is replicated across a bunch of different servers.
Gotcha.
So even if one goes down,
Okay.
you're not losing critical information.
So Kafka is fast, it scales, and it's not going to let me down. It's starting to sound pretty impressive.
Right.
But how does all this translate into real-world uses? Where are we seeing Kafka in action?
So let's start with something I bet you're doing right now.
Okay.
Browsing the web. Every time you click a link
Yep.
or search for something,
Uh-huh.
interact with a website, Kafka might be behind the scenes managing all that activity.
Okay.
But it's way more than just website clicks.
Okay.
Remember those behind the scenes communications that make your favorite apps work? Yeah. That's often Kafka orchestrating the messaging
Yeah.
between all those different parts of the system.
Got it.
And then for those massive server farms that are powering everything we do online, Kafka is helping keep tabs on their health and performance,
Okay.
gathering metrics and logs to prevent catastrophic meltdowns.
So it's Kafka's this invisible hand
Kind of, yeah.
that's ensuring a smooth user experience, even when we're dealing with mountains of data.
Right.
That sheds some light on why all those Fortune 100 companies are so invested.
Yeah.
But what else can Kafka do? It sounds like there's more to the story than just moving data from point A to point B.
Yeah, you're right. Kafka is way more than just a messenger.
Right.
It can actually analyze data in real time too.
Oh, wow.
So imagine a fraud detection system
Okay.
that can stop a scammer dead in their tracks.
Oh, cool.
Because Kafka spotted some suspicious transaction pattern.
Interesting.
Or think about predictive maintenance,
Oh.
where sensors are constantly feeding data into Kafka,
Uh-huh.
which can then trigger an alert
Okay.
before a piece of equipment fails.
So it's like having a data detective and a guardian angel
Yeah,
for my systems all rolled into one.
give me much.
That's some serious multitasking.
Right.
So we got speed, scalability, reliability, real-time analysis. Are we missing anything?
Oh, almost. There's one more.
Oh, okay.
One more superpower I haven't mentioned yet. Think of it as a time machine
Oh, okay.
and a safety net for distributed systems.
Mm-hmm.
Kafka keeps track of every single change.
That's
so if
okay.
something goes wrong, you can rewind,
Oh, that's cool.
restore data to a previous state.
Okay, yeah.
Huge for industries like finance and healthcare,
Uh-huh.
where data integrity is paramount.
So it's like a super detailed undo button
Yeah, kind of.
for like whole systems.
You can think about it like that.
That's incredibly powerful.
Mm.
No wonder industries like insurance and manufacturing are like all in on Kafka.
Yeah,
You mentioned 10 out of 10 of the largest companies in both of those sectors use it.
it's true.
That's pretty compelling endorsement.
Yeah.
I got to admit, though, all this talk about topics
Yeah.
and partitions
Mm-hmm.
is making my head spin a little bit.
Sure.
Can we take a step back
Yeah, absolutely.
and break down how Kafka actually works
I can definitely do that.
on a more technical level?
For sure. And we can do it without getting too lost in the weeds.
Okay, perfect.
Let's use an analogy that we can all relate to ordering food online.
Okay. I'm always up for a good food analogy, so lead the way.
All right, so picture this. The restaurant is the producer
Yeah.
of your, delicious data.
Okay.
They're creating that information that you crave.
Okay.
You, the hungry customer, are the consumer,
Okay.
eagerly awaiting that tasty data delivery.
Gotcha.
And Kafka.
Yeah.
Kafka's like that trusty food delivery app.
All right.
The broker that ensures your order gets to you quickly and efficiently. It's the middleman making sure everything flows smoothly between those producers and consumers.
So producers create data, consumers receive it, and Kafka's the delivery app,
Yeah.
making sure everything gets to the right place.
Exactly.
But where do those topics and partitions that you mentioned fit into our food delivery analogy?
Okay, so think of topics as categories for organizing your messages.
Okay.
Just like your email inbox has separate folders for work,
Yeah.
personal stuff, and all that spam topics.
Mm-hmm.
Topics help keep everything in Kafka organized. Producers send messages to specific topics,
Okay.
and consumers subscribe to the topics they're interested in.
Gotcha.
So it's a way to ensure that the right information gets to the right audience.
So efficient routing and targeted delivery makes sense. What about those partitions? Do they play a role in our food delivery scenario?
They do. Remember how we talked about Kafka being built for speed and scalability?
Yeah.
Partitions are key to making that happen. Imagine if that restaurant had to prepare
Okay.
and deliver every single order individually.
Yeah.
That'd be a nightmare.
It would be a logistical nightmare. Instead, they divide the work into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Right.
So that's essentially what partitions do. They break down topics into these smaller segments,
Okay.
allowing multiple consumers to process messages at the same time.
Yep.
It's like having a whole team of delivery drivers,
Okay.
all working together to get those orders out the door faster.
So partitions help with parallel processing and
Yeah.
speed things up.
Exactly.
But how does Kafka make sure that no messages get lost
Okay.
or delivered out of order?
Good question.
Especially when we're dealing with multiple partitions and consumers, it seems like things could get a little messy.
That's where offsets come in. Think of offsets as unique IDs
Okay.
assigned to each message within a partition. It's like giving every dish
Okay.
in that food order a specific number
Oh.
to make sure everything arrives in the right order.
Got it.
Offsets ensure consumers process messages in the right sequence.
And they also act like bookmarks, allowing consumers to pick up right where they left off if there's an interruption.
So offsets are all about maintaining order.
Yeah.
And preventing those data hiccups. It's like having a meticulous delivery system
Yeah.
that's keeping track of every single item. But how does Kafka manage to handle those massive volumes of messages?
Right.
Like, it seems like it would take an army of servers to keep up with all that data streaming.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Managing all those messages efficiently is a complex task, and that's where consumer groups come in.
Okay.
Imagine if instead of one delivery driver, you had a whole team of drivers
Okay.
working together to deliver those food orders.
Okay.
That's essentially what a consumer group is. It's a coordinated team of consumers
Okay.
that share the responsibility of processing messages from specific topics.
Got it.
Each consumer within the group takes ownership of specific partitions, ensuring that all the messages are processed in a balanced and efficient way. It's like this well-choreographed dance
Okay.
of data consumption.
So consumer groups are all about teamwork and load balancing,
Yeah.
making sure those data deliveries are happening smoothly and efficiently, even when we're dealing with massive amounts of information.
Exactly.
This is starting to sound like a seriously well-oiled machine.
It is.
But let's be realistic for a moment.
Okay.
Kafka can't be the perfect solution for every single data challenge, right?
Right.
There must be situations where other tools might be a better fit.
You're absolutely right. While Kafka is incredibly versatile and powerful, it's not one size fits all.
Okay.
There are definitely scenarios where other tools might be a more appropriate choice.
Okay, I'm intrigued. When should we not reach for Kafka?
Okay.
What are some of those scenarios where it might not be the ideal solution?
One common misconception is that Kafka is like a database or a data warehouse.
Okay.
While it's fantastic at storing and streaming data, it's not designed for like complex analytical queries
Gotcha.
or long-term data storage.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Kafka is great at getting all the ingredients ready for a delicious meal, but you'll need a different tool to actually cook and serve that meal.
Okay, so Kafka handles the real-time data flow, but we need specialized tools for deeper analysis and long-term storage.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What else should we keep in mind when we're considering Kafka's limitations?
So another thing to consider is that integrating Kafka with legacy technology can sometimes be tricky.
Okay.
While it can connect to older systems, it might not always be the most efficient approach.
Okay.
Sometimes a dedicated middleware layer, specifically designed to handle those complex protocols and formats from, the dinosaur days of computing, might be a better choice. It's like having a translator who can bridge the gap between like the modern world of Kafka and those legacy systems that speak a different language.
So it's not always a plug-and-play solution.
Right.
Especially when we're dealing with those older systems that haven't quite caught up to the world of real-time data streaming. Anything else to add to our when not to use Kafka list?
Absolutely. When it comes to the Internet of Things,
where
we're connecting, thousands or even millions of devices or dealing with unreliable networks, specialized protocols and gateways are often a better fit than trying to shoehorn Kafka into those scenarios. It's like trying to deliver a pizza to a remote mountaintop using a regular car. You're going to need a more specialized vehicle that can handle the terrain.
You're going to need a helicopter at that point.
Pretty much.
So Kafka might not be the best choice for those last mile connectivity challenges in the world of IoT? Makes sense. What other scenarios should we be aware of?
Well, while Kafka excels at managing those internal data flows within an organization, it's not always the best tool for managing external APIs. Those connections that allow different applications to talk to each other. In those cases, purpose-built API management tools are typically a better choice. It's like having, a separate team of diplomats who specialize in handling external communications and ensuring that everything runs smoothly between different organizations.
So dedicated tools for external APIs. Got it. Are there any other potential downsides to Kafka that we should keep in mind?
Two more quick points. First, when it comes to processing large files, while Kafka can handle them, it's often more efficient to break them down into smaller messages or use kind of a hybrid approach with object storage.
Got it.
It's like trying to move a giant elephant versus like a herd of smaller, more agile animals. Sometimes dividing and conquering is the more effective strategy.
So break down those big files for optimal efficiency.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What's the final caveat on our list?
So this one's a bit more technical, but it's important to note that Kafka is not designed for those safety-critical applications that require absolute zero latency.
Got it.
Like robotics or industrial control systems. In those scenarios, serialized hard real-time systems are essential. It's like the difference between a regular mail delivery and like an emergency medical dispatch, the stakes are just too high to rely on a system that doesn't guarantee instant delivery.
Because in those scenarios, even a tiny delay could have disastrous consequences.
Absolutely.
So while Kafka is powerful and versatile, it's not a magical cure-all. Knowing its limitations is just as important as understanding its strengths.
Precisely.
And that brings us to a crucial question for you, dear listener.
Hold
that thought. Before we dive into that, I just want to remind everyone listening, we tailor these deep dives to your interests.
That's right.
So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, give us a like.
Do all that stuff.
And most importantly, let us know what other topics you are burning to explore.
Tell us.
We are here to guide you down those fascinating rabbit holes.
We are.
But back to that thought-provoking question you were about to pose.
Okay, yeah.
All right, lay it on us. What's the big question we should all be pondering as we continue our exploration of Kafka?
Given all that we've talked about with Kafka's capabilities and limitations, I'd love for you to consider this.
Okay.
How might this technology impact your field or interests? What problems could it solve? What opportunities could it unlock?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We've given you the information. Now it's your turn to connect the dots.
Right.
Think about it and let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Please.
Until next time, happy exploring.
Happy exploring. You know, it's fascinating to think about how Kafka has evolved from a solution for like this very specific problem at LinkedIn to become this foundational technology for businesses across so many different industries.
Really speaks to the power of elegant design, doesn't it?
It really does.
But all this talk about producers, consumers, topics, and partitions, it does sound very technical.
Can be, yeah.
Is Kafka something that only developers need to worry about?
Right.
Or should, like, non-technical folks be paying attention to?
That's a great question. And the answer is a resounding yes.
Okay.
Non-technical folks should absolutely be paying attention to Kafka, even if they never write a single line of code.
Okay. You've piqued my curiosity. Why should someone in marketing, sales, or even business analysis care about a technology that seems, well, so developer-centric?
Because Kafka isn't just about moving data around. Right. It's about enabling like real-time insights and actions that can completely transform how businesses operate.
Okay.
Regardless of your role.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Can you give me some concrete examples?
Sure.
How can Kafka impact the bottom line?
Okay.
For teams that aren't necessarily tech savvy.
So let's say you're a marketer.
Okay.
Responsible for, you know, those targeted ad campaigns we see everywhere online. With Kafka, you can get real-time feedback on how your campaigns are performing.
Oh, wow.
Allowing you to, like, adjust your messaging and targeting on the fly to optimize results. No more waiting for those clunky batch reports that are already outdated by the time you see them.
So Kafka brings agility and speed to marketing.
Yes.
Allowing for real-time optimization.
Exactly.
What about sales?
Okay.
How can it help them close more deals?
Imagine a sales team that gets instant notifications when a potential customer shows significant interest in a product or service. Kafka can trigger these alerts go based on real-time activity data, giving salespeople the opportunity to reach out at the perfect moment. And strike while the iron is hot.
That's a huge advantage. No more relying on guesswork or delayed data. What about business analysts? How does Kafka empower them?
Kafka can provide business analysts with real-time data streams from across the entire organization, giving them a much clearer and up-to-date picture of what's happening. This can lead to like better informed decisions, more accurate forecasting, and ultimately a competitive edge.
So whether it's optimizing marketing campaigns, empowering sales teams, or giving business analysts the insights they need to make critical decisions, Kafka's impact extends like far beyond the realm of developers.
It really does.
It's really about democratizing data and making it accessible to everyone.
Exactly. And as businesses become increasingly reliant on data-driven decisions, understanding the role of technologies like Kafka will be essential for success in like virtually every department.
I'm definitely starting to see that now.
Yeah.
Kafka isn't just a technical tool.
Right.
It's a business enabler.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important for everyone to have at least a basic understanding of how it works.
Yeah.
And the potential that it holds.
Precisely. And it's worth noting that as Kafka's adoption continues to grow, we're likely to see even more innovative use cases emerge across different industries. It's a technology that's constantly evolving and pushing the boundaries of what's possible with real-time data.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's dive back into Kafka's inner workings for a moment. We've talked about producers, consumers, brokers, topics, and partitions. But there's one crucial piece of the puzzle that we haven't really mentioned yet. Like the unsung hero. That keeps this whole intricate system running smoothly.
You're talking about Zookeeper.
Zookeeper,
It's that behind-the-scenes coordinator that manages the Kafka cluster, keeps track of all the crucial components, and ensures that everything stays in sync.
So while producers and consumers are busy sending and receiving messages, Zookeeper's like the stage manager.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Making sure that the show runs without a hitch.
Exactly. Zookeeper's responsible for things like electing a leader for each partition.
Okay.
Tracking which brokers are, alive and well,
Okay.
and managing those access control lists.
Yep.
It's the glue that holds that Kafka cluster together.
Okay, so Zookeeper is the unsung hero, the maestro of the Kafka orchestra. But is it always necessary? I've heard whispers of Kafka like moving away from Zookeeper.
Oh, yeah.
In the future.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's right. There's been this movement in the Kafka community to make the platform self-managing, eliminating the need for an external dependency like Zookeeper.
So Kafka's going solo.
Yeah, kind of.
Why the change?
Well, while Zookeeper has served Kafka well for many years, it does add some complexity to the deployment and management of the platform. So moving to a self-managing architecture, it simplifies things.
Okay.
Makes Kafka more scalable.
Okay.
And potentially improves performance as well.
Interesting. So is this the end of the road for Zookeeper in the Kafka world?
I wouldn't say it's the end of the road just yet. It's a gradual transition.
Okay.
While newer versions of Kafka offer this self-managing capability, a lot of existing deployments still rely on Zookeepers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And support for Zookeeper is likely to continue for some time.
Okay.
Just to ensure a smooth transition for those users.
So it's not a sudden breakup, more like a conscious uncoupling.
Yeah.
Got it. But all this talk about the technical nitty-gritty, it's making me wonder, are there any downsides to using Kafka?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It can't be all sunshine and rainbows, right?
You're right. Every technology has its trade-offs. And Kafka is no exception. One potential downside is, the learning curve.
Okay.
It's a powerful and sophisticated system.
Yeah.
So getting up to speed on all its nuances can take time and effort.
So not exactly plug and play for beginners.
Not quite, no.
What else?
Another consideration is that Kafka's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
While it excels in a lot of scenarios, we've already talked about situations where other tools might be a better fit.
Right.
So it's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Right. Choosing the right tool for the job is crucial. Any other potential downsides to keep in mind?
Depending on the scale of your deployment, Kafka can have, significant infrastructure requirements.
Okay.
Managing a large Kafka cluster can be pretty complex and resource intensive.
So not exactly a lightweight solution for small-scale projects. Right. Anything else?
One more. Another potential challenge is debugging and troubleshooting when things go wrong. In a distributed system like Kafka, it can be tricky to pinpoint the root cause of the issue.
So debugging Kafka can sometimes feel like solving a complex puzzle.
You can think about it like that, yes.
Okay.
But it's worth noting that the Kafka community is very active.
Okay.
And there are lots of resources available to help with troubleshooting and problem solving.
Okay, so while Kafka has its challenges, there's a supportive community.
There is.
And a wealth of resources.
Yes.
To help overcome them.
Precisely. And as with any technology, the key is to weigh the benefits against the downsides.
Right.
And just make an informed decision.
Right.
Based on your specific needs.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
And speaking of informed decisions.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears and talk about the business side of things for a moment.
Okay.
We know that Kafka is popular with those Fortune 100 companies.
Yes.
But is it only for, big players?
Okay.
With deep pockets?
Not at all. While Kafka's scalability and robustness make it ideal for enterprise-grade applications, it's also accessible to smaller organizations, too.
Okay.
In fact, there are several ways to get started with Kafka.
Okay.
Without, breaking the bank.
Okay, I'm all ears. How can smaller companies get in on the Kafka action without emptying their wallets?
One option is to use a managed Kafka service.
Oh, okay.
Cloud providers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, they all offer managed Kafka services that handle the infrastructure and operational overhead, allowing you to focus on building your applications.
So let the cloud giants take care of the heavy lifting while you focus on your core business.
Exactly.
What other options are there for smaller teams?
Another approach is to start with a smaller self-managed Kafka deployment.
Okay.
So you can run Kafka on a few commodity servers and just scale up as your needs grow. It's a great way to dip your toes in the Kafka waters.
Without making a huge upfront investment.
So start small and scale organically.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But for those who are completely new to Kafka, where's the best place to start learning?
The Apache Kafka website is a great resource.
Okay.
They have comprehensive documentation, tutorials, and examples.
Nice.
And there are lots of online courses and communities dedicated to Kafka, providing a wealth of knowledge and support for beginners.
Perfect.
It's a great time to dive into the world of Kafka. The resources and support are readily available.
So plenty of resources available to guide newbies through the Kafka wilderness.
Pretty much, yeah.
But before we send our listeners off to explore those resources, let's bring it back to the big picture for a moment.
Okay, yeah. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From Kafka's humble beginnings as like a log processing tool
to its current status as like this mission-critical platform for real-time data streaming. We've explored its capabilities, its limitations, its inner workings, and its impact on businesses of all sizes.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
And along the way, we've learned about producers, consumers, brokers, topics, partitions, offsets, consumer groups, and the ever-important zookeeper.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
That's a lot.
But hopefully you now have a better understanding of why this technology is so important and how it can be leveraged to solve real-world problems across a wide range of industries.
I agree. But before we wrap things up, let's leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question to ponder as they continue their exploration of Kafka.
All right, I like it. Here's one to chew on. If you could access real-time data from any system or application within your organization, what insights would you gain? What actions could you take? How would it change the way you work?
Ooh, that's a good one. It really highlights the transformative potential of real-time data and the power that Kafka unlocks.
Exactly.
And it's something to keep in mind as you continue your exploration of this fascinating world of Apache Kafka. But before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment, give us a like. We love hearing from you. And your feedback helps us shape future episodes.
That's right.
And most importantly, let us know what other topics you would like us to deep dive into. We're always on the lookout for new rabbit holes to explore.
Indeed. We're here to be your guides in this vast and ever-expanding world of knowledge.
That's right.
So tell us, what are you curious about?
All right, folks, that's a wrap on our Apache Kafka deep dive.
It is.
Hopefully you've come away with a newfound appreciation for this powerful technology and the potential it holds.
And remember, the journey of discovery doesn't end here.
It doesn't.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with real-time data.
Until next time, happy learning.
Happy learning.